Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Kari and today I'm doing my 2019 TBR. I didn't do this last year, but I've seen it a couple of times this year and I decided I kind of like the idea of having 10 books that I really wanted to get to by the end of 2019, as opposed to just doing a monthly TBR, which I'm also going to do. Let's get into the books. These are in no particular order. I just went around and found 10 books that I remembered really wanting to read but having not gotten to them yet. And the first one is Allison and Owen Pataki's Where the Light Falls. This is a novel about the French Revolution. That is all I know, and I totally bought it entirely for the cover. I just absolutely love this cover. It's stunning to me, and I don't read a lot about the French Revolution, so I really want to get to this book to see if the insides match the outsides. Next I have a classic, which is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I have read War and Peace, as I'm fairly certain I've mentioned, but I've never gotten around to Anna Karenina. I know that it's horrifyingly depressing, but I've read Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, so I think I'm well prepared. I don't know anything about this beyond that it is Russian literature and horrifyingly depressing, but I've been told that it's well written and good, worth the read, so I'm going to read it if it kills me. Then I have another classic, which is The Three Musketeers by Alexander Dumas. I continually said that I want to read this book, and then I just, haven't. I have read The Count of Monte Cristo by him, and really enjoyed that. There is a Three Musketeers sort of retelling by Sebastian de Castell called the Great Coat series that I want to read because I hear really good things about that. However, I refuse to read that until I've read the source material. Also, this is a really pretty copy, so it makes sense to read this that's been on my shelf since high school before I get into that. Also, I do really enjoy Dumas' writing and his plots. I'm excited to read this, and hopefully I'll get to this fairly quickly. Then I have The Brothers of Gwynedd, Quartet by Edith Pargeter. I may have mispronounced Gwynedd because it is Welsh and I do not speak Welsh, so I apologize. If you speak Welsh, please tell me how to pronounce it. But this is a historical fiction about the history of medieval Wales. I find very little about Wales. I don't know a lot about it. I know the Tudors were Welsh, and that's about all I got. I'm excited to read this as a way to open myself up to new places in history. Also, this is a bind of 4 books, so while it looks absolutely massive, it's 4 books, so it's actually not that bad. And it just sounds really good. So I have another TBR vet, which is Aztec by Gary Jennings. This is also a massive book. Are you sensing a pattern? This is about the Aztecs. It is the extraordinary story of the last and greatest native civilization of North America. It is, basically following an Aztec man. It follows an Aztec man during the conquest of Mexico by Hernan Cortez. Hernan or Hernando? Either way, by Cortez. And it sounds really good. It also sounds a little bit like Caleb Carr, except without the fantasy element. And I enjoyed Caleb Carr's writing when I read The Legend of Broken. So I'm excited to read this. I'm a little bit trepidatious because I want it to be as well done as I expect, but I have to remember that my expectations may be a little bit high. Hopefully this is phenomenal. Then, one of my most anticipated releases of last year, which I got for Christmas, which is How to Behave Badly in Elizabethan England by Ruth Goodman. This is what it sounds like. She talks about the behavior of rogues and, thieves, fools, harlots, cuckold, drunkards, liars, and braggarts. I am so excited. I loved her How to Be a Tutor. It was amazing. And I found out she was publishing this one in October of last year and just went head over heels for it. So I got it as soon as I could, which was the minute I started working, and I'm beyond excited to dive into this one, probably this month or early February. Then we have another Elizabeth one, because I would like to read at least one thing about Elizabeth or Elizabethan England a month. And that is Game of Queens, The Women Who Made 16th Century Europe by Sarah Griswold. This is about what it sounds like, the women of 16th century Europe. It includes, I believe, Anne Boleyn, Obviously Elizabeth, Isabella of Castile, Catherine of Aragon, Catherine de Medici, whew, she's crazy, Mary Tudor, all of them. And I know the most about Elizabeth and the people immediately surrounding her, so her sister Mary Tudor I know a fair bit about. I also know a decent bit about Mary Queen of Scots. But the rest of them I know very little about, and I'm excited to dive into this and learn more about some really powerful, amazing women. Then we get into the YA fantasies, starting with Shadow of Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This is the entire trilogy. I want to read the whole thing, but this is just the first book. Part of the reason is because King of Scars comes out and it follows a character from here, Nikolai, so I can't read that book until I read this because otherwise I'm not going to have a clue what's going on. I really like these covers, so that's part of the reason I bought them. I did finally finish the Six of Crows duology last year, which means that I can go into these and, you know, not be confused by the series. I've heard that this one's not as good as the Six of Crows duology, but as long as I know that and go into it with lower expectations, I will be fine. So I'm excited to read this as just sort of a quick, easy weekend read. And no, I don't know what that one's about really, beyond YA fantasy. Next we have Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. This is about a young girl whose country is invaded, her mother is murdered, and she is taken as basically a trophy. She's a prisoner in her own castle and used to remind her people that they can't win. She decides to fight back. The second one comes out early this year, and I really want to read that one, but obviously I can't very well read the second one without having read the first one. And last but not least is the Fallen Kingdom series by Morgan Rhodes. I have the first 4 of this series. I've read the first one, this one, and didn't really enjoy it. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5, but I do want to continue the series, so at some point, probably in the next month or 2, I will read the rest of the ones that I have and then find cheap versions of the last 2 so that I can finish out the series, and hopefully it gets better. It's been described as a YA Game of Thrones, but it's not that good. At least I don't think it is. Again, hopefully it gets better, but I found the first one really dragged. Those are my top 10 books that I want to get to in 2019. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!